Hello everybody, thanks for tuning in. It's February 14th, 2019, Valentine's Day. A rainy weekend in Contra Costa. We've had rain for the last several days and it's given me a lot of time to be running around, not doing anything I'm supposed to be doing.
On this week's Walnut Creek North Tour, we had a really special property over in Pleasant Hill that had this absolutely amazing view of Mount Diablo. If you're in the market for a high-end single-level property with an absolutely amazing view, give me a call and I'll be happy to get you into this property.
This last weekend, I was down in Crockett and I stopped by the Nantucket to find out that this little secret hangout will be closing its doors in 5 days on February 19th. In any case, I'll be sad to see the place go. So anyways, on the way home, I was listening to the radio guys. I don't know if you listen to AM radio on weekends, but it's filled with investment, real estate, and mortgage broker programs, typically regionally out of San Francisco and Sacramento areas, giving their opinion of what's going on in those markets. And they said something that was kind of interesting. They said that Super Bowl week is the Groundhog Day of real estate. That was kind of interesting statement. And if you follow my vlog 2 weeks ago, I stated real estate was closed. That was the week before the Super Bowl, ending on Super Bowl Sunday, and that is typically a bad week for real estate. You know, agents don't like putting their homes on tour on Tuesday and Thursday because the first open house will be Super Bowl Sunday, and it's just not a very good day to get buyer traffic out there because many buyers are doing other things. The Saturday before the Super Bowl is generally a good day because the motivated buyers are out there in force, and obviously not a football game to interfere with that, so it becomes a normal Sunday. But the following week is generally a good day, good week for inventory because all the listings that didn't come on Super Bowl week are put on the following week, which makes the Super Bowl an analogy that it's the kickoff of the real estate buying season going into the second quarter, which is typically the best quarter of the year on an annual basis. So what we're doing here today is we're going to take a look at the first full week after the Super Bowl, and let's test the theory that this is a Groundhog Day occurrence. I had to do some off-camera work to figure out what these guys were talking about. First of all, I didn't know what they meant by Super Bowl week. Did they mean the week going into the Super Bowl? Did they mean for their markets going out of the Super Bowl? So for our market, what it was is the first full week after the Super Bowl comes closest to being some sort of an analogy for this. So I went back to my market reports, and some of these market reports are available on my issue site, which I will link to below. I put them up once a week, but I get them bi-weekly, and it gives a little snapshot of the market on a periodic basis. And we get these in-house reports on a weekly basis. They're published every Wednesday, so it picks up the Thursday broker's tour from the week before and the most immediate broker's tour for Walnut Creek, Northern Contra Costa North tour, and we'll compare the two. So what we'll do is we'll go back to the 2018 report, which will pick up the 2017 and the 2018 information, and it will also pick up the week of the Super Bowl and the first full week after the Super Bowl. and we'll compare the two side by side. Let's talk, we'll be talking about the 4 markets I serve: Concord, Pleasant Hill, Walnut Creek, and Danville. And one quick note about Danville, if we look at the Altos report, the median list price in Danville is 1.75, and my market cap is right around here at the bottom end, between 835 and about $1.3 million. So not sure that this is reflective of anything, but this price point right here is competitive with the region. So what we can do is we can take the Danville report and we can look at this regionally, because somebody who's buying a 1.75 home in Danville is looking for a 1.75 home in Fremont and Cupertino, Sunnyvale, up the peninsula, Menlo Park, Redwood City, San Francisco, Marin County. They're not as geographically specific as the market under 1.5 million, which typically is segmented by Contra Costa, Southern Alameda County, etc. So, okay, so let's look at our market segments. Starting with Concord, which is the lowest price market in the area that I serve. Go back a year. This is the report for the first full week after the Super Bowl. And you can see that for the year compared to the year before in 2017, that the inventory was down, basically flat. I mean, there's not much difference between 70 and 50 units of homes. It's not dramatic. I mean, it is something. You can see that the Super Bowl week was kind of a dead week with only 6 new units coming on the market that prior week. And so we go to our, so here's our Concord report. And if we look back at the calendar, you can see that the fourth quarter dipped a little bit, but for last year, all of 2018, we've been hovering in an average range between 625 and 650. So we're in a plateau in 2018 in the Concord market. And if we go back and take a look at our statistics for Concord, that's about right. That connects. So let's take a look at Pleasant Hill. Pleasant Hill, also basically flat, from 10 to 17 units, not a big difference. Pleasant Hill, and it's a flat trend. So we have another match. So let's go to the next up segment, and that's the Walnut Creek market, where they were dead on flat. And the Walnut Creek market basically hovering in a plateau with some few dips through 18, even though we did get a little bit of a rise here. The Super Bowl weekend was right here, but the market did rise and then held steady through that part of the year. So we can kind of call that a match. You know, considering the Groundhog isn't always correct, I'd say that that's pretty fair assessment, that that's where we at. And then let's check out the Danville market and the regional market. So the Danville market, basically flat, and the trend for 2018 was basically flat. So looks to be a correlation. Okay, so what does the Groundhog have to tell us for 2019? Looking at the market segments from lowest to highest, we've got the Concord market with 10 active listings, or 10 listings in contract compared to 15 last year. So the Groundhog is telling us that the Concord market's going to be in a slight decline for 2019. In Pleasant Hill, it goes from one unit in contract last year to 8 units in contract this year. And that predicts a down market for Pleasant Hill this year. In Walnut Creek, we had 5 units last year, and 6 units this year. So it predicts Walnut Creek will remain flat for the year. And then taking a look at Danville and the high-end region, they had 12 units last year and 13 units this year for making the region flat in the upper end market. Now this makes absolutely no sense at all, because through experience, I can tell you that that should be absolutely reversed, that the higher end market would be moving more radically than the lower end market will. But given we have a small sample size to work with, these numbers are really meaningless at these 12 to 13 units in the contract. Maybe the inventory, the active inventory, will paint a different picture of what 2019 might look at, and then what we can do is at the end of the year take a look at these market statistics all over again and find out how the 2020 Groundhog will be able to predict moving forward. So in the lowest market segment, the units of inventory have almost doubled. So that predicts that's consistent with the Groundhog telling us that the market's going to move down this year. In Pleasant Hill, it's basically flat, so that tells a consistent story. In Walnut Creek, the inventory is up a little bit, but not significantly enough where we can say that it's going to contradict or somehow, tell us that the Groundhog is absolutely wrong. But Danville is up, and so Groundhog might be wrong on the top end of the market. So if the Groundhog is right, we're looking at a transitioning market for 2019 with it depending on whatever price point, and we'll look forward to see how that goes through the remaining part of the year. So I hope you enjoyed this little video. We will follow up with it at the very end of the year to find out how our Groundhog prediction did, and I will look forward to talking to you at the end of next week with next week's real estate blog. Thanks for checking in, and we'll look to see you out there in escrow.